That one video that one guy made was Endgame, but everyone. But what if we made that, but Smash Bros. But literally everybody. So what if Smash Bros. Was essentially just the most iconic characters in fiction altogether? Who would be in the game and who would not? Of course, this is entirely fictional, so of course those people who would say, but those rules in Smash Bros, this is entirely fictional, this is entirely fan-made, I made up this idea on my own. World Smash Bros was kind of like that one video where it was basically everyone. So non-gaming characters can be in this Smash Bros game. Because it is if every company came together and made one game, and they could put as many characters as they chose. But of course there's a limit, so because of course developers can only put so many characters in the game. So, for example, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo would get characters in the game. So first we start off video games, and Smash Bros. Is supposed to be the celebration of video games. And the first game in the franchise would, of course, be the best-selling game franchise of all time. That is Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. Is sold a total of 653 million copies. So, what would the four Mario characters be? Well, since Mario is the biggest gaming franchise, we'll give Mario 4 characters. Thus the Super Mario franchise alone. And we'll also be doing the Super Mario Extended Universe as well. So that means Yoshi, Wario, and Donkey Kong Country series, and Donkey Kong Country series will all be represented separately as well. So the Mario characters would be Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Bowser. Pretty standard for the Mario franchise. These are the most important Mario characters, as they are basically the Mario characters that are in basically every game. So these are and of course they were the Mario characters except excluding Dr. Mario in Melee. And now we'll get into the Mario Extended Universe. Yoshi and Wario of course be in the game, but they'll represent their own series, just like in Smash Bros. And then Donkey Kong would be in the game as well, but instead of Diddy Kong, it would probably be King K. Rool. Because if we wanted to have more, we would love to have Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong is of course more iconic since he's in more games than King K. Rool. But King K. Rool is a villain, and of course we need more villains in the roster. So it makes sense if this game had a base story mode, King K. Rool would be in the game because he's a villain. The second best-selling game series is Tetris. Tetris wouldn't really fit in Smash Bros. To begin with. Tetris doesn't really have characters. So Tetris would probably get a stage. In the game. And yeah, we might go over stages some other day. Next is Pokemon. Pokemon is Nintendo's second biggest franchise and second best-selling franchise overall. Pokemon is basically, Nintendo's second biggest franchise. And no, Jigglypuff will not be one of them. Original 12 rules do not apply to the Smash Bros. Because we're really allowing anybody to put egg characters in Smash Bros. And Pokemon has evolved much since Gen 1. So there'll be 4 Pokemon characters. Pikachu, of course, be the obvious first character in Smash Bros. Because, of course, this Smash Bros. Hypothetical massive crossover. This Smash Bros. Is also kind of like Jump Force, basically, where every series gets a certain amount of characters. Pokemon, because Pokemon is almost as big as Mario, it's actually the highest grossing franchise of all time. Pikachu would be the first character, obviously, since Pikachu is the mascot of Pokemon. The second Pokemon will not be Jigglypuff, because original 12 rules do not apply to this game. It would be Greninja, since Greninja was voted as the best Pokemon as the best Pokemon by the entire community. Since on the 2020 Pokemon poll, Greninja would be in instead of Jigglypuff. The third Pokemon would be pretty obvious, Mewtwo, because legendary Pokemon are a very, very important part of the series. And Mewtwo was the first OG best secret legendary Pokemon. Mewtwo has also had several movies made out of him, including a very recent remake. And the last character would be Pokemon Trainer, exactly like in Brawl and Smash Ultimate. So Charizard, Ivysaur, and Squirtle, 3 characters in 1. So Pokemon would have technically 6 characters, but it'll be 4 characters basically, because you have all the important parts of Pokemon. You have the mascot, you have the Pokemon for newer generations, you have Pokemon Trainer, and then you have a legendary Pokemon. If we include a 5th rep for Pokemon, it will definitely be Lucario, but we only had 4 reps, So Lucario, sadly, is not in the game as much as they love Lucario. The next best-selling game is Call of Duty. What characters would represent Call of Duty? I actually have to look this up because I don't really play Call of Duty. So we have to look up Call of Duty characters. The problem with Call of Duty is basically, Call of Duty, you just shoot people with a gun. That's all Call of Duty is. But I'm going to look through the best Call of Duty characters of all time. And some of the most popular characters are here. So we're going to look up the most popular Call of Duty character in fandom on wait, that's not really helping at all. But the first character that shows up in Google is John Price, right? Or Soap or Alex Mason. I think 3 Call of Duty characters would probably be in the game. There would all be echoes, but Call of Duty is the third best-selling game of all series of all time. So Call of Duty would probably just have those 3 most iconic characters of all time. Alex Mason, Soap McTavish, and John Price. They'll all use different types of guns to have character variety. The next series is FIFA. Here we go. So FIFA is a game that is mostly based off real-life people. And FIFA will not have any representation in Smash Bros. Other than the stage, just like Tetris. Because one of the rules, there is one rule. No real-life people. So Tony Hawk is discounted as well. So the next franchise is Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto, of course, the first character would be Big Smoke. Of course. We gotta pick him for the memes. But of course, the other characters would probably be protagonists from many of the GTA games. Probably the protagonist from GTA 5, which the most popular is Trevor Phillips, and probably the most popular Nico Bellic from GTA 4, since Big Smoke is already in the game and he's basically an icon in himself. So those are our GTA reps as well. Next is the Wii franchise. The Wii franchise is weird, but we do have Wii characters. Yep. We're talking about Wii Fit and Wii Sports. They'll get 1 rep, and that is the Mii's. Because Wii Fit Trainer wouldn't really fit in a game where you have to fight against Goku and Darth Vader. Yep, they'll be in this game as well when we get to the cartoon and movies and I just don't see Wii Fit Trainer being fitting, but the Mii's would make a lot of sense. So the 3 Mii characters would basically be the reps for the Wii. Next is Lego. Really? Most of the time, Lego is based off other franchises. We're skipping Lego. Same thing with The Sims, because they're just real-life people, but in a video game. Next franchise is Minecraft. Minecraft is another problem. Minecraft doesn't really have characters. Minecraft is a game where you just build stuff. Unless you want to include Minecraft Dungeons characters. But Minecraft's character will get one rep, and that is Steve/Alex from there. So it's technically 2 characters in one. And also Enderman Zombie. So we don't want to give them 4 separate slots on the roster because they'll both all exactly play the same. So basically, what they did with Minecraft and Super Smash Bros. Would be Minecraft's rep. Next is Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is the next biggest franchise on the list. The 2 characters from Final Fantasy 7 that are already in Smash Bros. Cloud and Sephiroth, I think, would be in Smash Bros. But the other 3rd Final Fantasy character that will be in Smash Bros., because of course we have Cloud and Sephiroth because we need more villains in the Smash Bros. Game, would be Black Mage. He is the other iconic Final Fantasy character and would work very, very well in this game. Next is Assassin's Creed. So on that, go stop creating 3 characters per franchise. So Assassin's Creed, the first character to be Ezio, because he's basically the most popular Assassin's Creed character. In the franchise, he is even though he hasn't really appeared in any new Assassin's Creed games, he is still considered the face of the Assassin's Creed franchise. And OTL because Assassin's Creed will get 2 reps in this series. The next franchise is Mario Kart and Need for Speed. They'll get stages. Next is Sonic. Sonic is a franchise that should have more than 2 characters. Assassin's Creed gets 2 characters, but Sonic has a large cast of characters. A huge cast of characters. It's like Mario. But Sonic isn't as big as Mario, now. But Sonic just recently got a movie, so we'll give the 3 Sonic characters will be the 3 most important Sonic characters. Sonic, Dr. Eggman, and Tails. Yep, these are all very obvious characters. If Sonic had a fourth rep, it would be Sally the Hedgehog. But we're keeping it down to 3 because Sonic is just such a big franchise. Sonic is actually, I think, arguably bigger than the Final Fantasy franchise, but considering that Sonic's games have not really sold that well recently because the games being mediocre most of the time, it makes sense that Sonic gets 3 characters just like Final Fantasy. I think Sonic gets more characters than Assassin's Creed despite selling way more copies, because Assassin's Creed is an annual franchise, and Sonic is basically a franchise that is still kind of in the shadows. Madden, Star Wars will cover in the movie series. Star Wars is mostly a movie series, Wii, sports, and Pro Evolution Soccer. Next is Resident Evil. What would the Resident Evil reps would be? Well, there are 2 characters that... Resident Evil is another pretty tricky one, because the 2 biggest Resident Evil characters is Chris Redfield and Leon S. Kennedy. But if we really want to make it clear, if we really want to make it just 2 characters, make it a villain and a hero, would be Leon S. Kennedy and Albert Wesker. But again, Resident Evil fans are like, what about the other Resident Evil games? And it'll be in the same conundrum as Final Fantasy. Resident Evil, like Final Fantasy, is a very long-running franchise. There. So, I think that it would probably just be Leon S. Kennedy and Chris Redfield. If we had to include a third character, it would be Albert Wesker, because we would have to include a villain in the game, in the series. The next series is Zelda. Of course, the 3 Zelda characters. I'm going to give Zelda 3 characters because, yep, we all know the 3 characters in Zelda it would be. Zelda, Link, and Ganondorf. That would be Zelda's representation in the games. And normal franchise would be getting 3 characters. NBA, yep, that will not be represented. They will just get a stage. Tom Clancy's, it's based off a book, but Tom Clancy is... I don't know any Tom Clancy characters. Tom Clancy characters. Okay, so yeah. The characters that would represent Tom Clancy's characters would be Sam Fisher and Jack Ryan. Basically, because it would represent that franchise. Thing is, yeah, Tom Clancy's games... Tom Clancy's more, despite being based off a book and not really being a video game character series, it is mostly associated with the video game series made by Ubisoft. Next is Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest would probably just get 1 character. Why? Because Hero is essentially just 1 character. But if we had to choose 2 characters, it would probably be Slime. Well, they put freaking Piranha Plant as a playable character. Then why can't they include Slime as a playable character? The next franchise on the list is Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider, of course, the character would be Lara Croft. Basically, yeah, she would be the sole representative of that franchise. The next franchise would be Halo. Yep, Halo would get 1. Since Microsoft doesn't really have many big franchises, we're going to cheat and give Halo 2 characters, even though they just gave Tomb Raider 1. Well, Halo has 2 characters in it. 2 major characters in the Halo storyline. Well, nope, it's not that guy from Halo 5 that everybody forgets about. And no, it's not Atriox, even though it would be cool to have it. But the 2 most popular Halo characters, of course, the Master Chief and the Arbiter. You could have a human and a Covenant character to play as. It makes sense. Just Dance and Oregon Trail wouldn't really fit into a fighting game. Monster Hunter will just get the Monster Hunter. Smash Bros, well, this is basically a Smash Bros game in itself because we're including everything. WWE, nope, we'll get a Wrestling Ring stage. Animal Crossing would get the Villager and Isabelle as playable characters. The reason why I'm giving Animal Crossing 2 characters like Halo, Animal Crossing gets 2 characters because of the very recent success of Animal Crossing New Horizons. And considering that Animal Crossing is going to be a bigger series in the future, I think giving Animal Crossing 2 reps is justified. Elder Scrolls against Dragonborn. Yep, the sole character representative of Elder Scrolls. Because of dealing with much smaller franchises compared to Final Fantasy, Pokemon, and Mario, yeah, Elder Scrolls will just get 1 character. Battlefield, I have to look up Battlefield characters because Battlefield is another very big franchise. Not as big as Star Wars and Call of Duty. But, yeah, Battlefield doesn't really have characters. I'll probably just pick the most popular Probably the first character on Battlefield character. Kumbo Graves would be the Battlefield rep. Or Dimitri Markofozi, because he's another very popular Battlefield character. So yeah, Battlefield can have a rep in Smash Bros. Metal Gear, of course, Snake would be playable. That's basically it. Mortal Kombat's another problem. Mortal Kombat is a very big franchise, so we can't just have one character in Mortal Kombat. The two characters in Mortal Kombat would actually be Scorpion and Sub-Zero. They're the most iconic characters of the franchise. Scorpion is the face of the franchise, and Sub-Zero is the second face of the franchise. Dragon Ball, we'll get to that in the anime part. Borderlands, it won't be any of the Vault Hunters. The playable character would be Handsome Jack from Borderlands 2. He is definitely much more memorable than any of the Vault Hunters you play as. But we had to pick a second character. I would probably pick the Krieg the Psycho because he would probably have the most unique moveset in the game. Tekken, well, I have to look up Tekken characters because I don't really know much about Tekken at all. Probably pick 10 seconds of fighting game will get two characters, basically. And Tekken's a game of high. Okay, the two characters in Tekken are Jin Kazuma and Hayate. Those are like the most popular characters in Tekken's series. Hayate is the villain of Tekken, I think, so it makes sense. The next franchise is Crash Bandicoot. Of course, the sole representative of Crash Bandicoot would be Crash Bandicoot. Far Cry, well, we all know who the playable character for that series is going to be. None of the main characters, it will be Voss from Far Cry 3, because he's the most iconic character in that franchise. I know there are games that have released since then, but Far Cry 3 is kind of like considered the greatest of the series because of him alone. Diablo, I have to look up Diablo characters. Oh, here we go again. Diablo characters Yep, because I don't know anything about Diablo. I know about Overwatch, but Overwatch is in Diablo. And the first character that shows up is Tyro, so that will be our Diablo rep. And the Witcher would, of course, get Geralt from the Witcher series. Then we're going further down the list. Red Dead Redemption will get John Marston from Red Dead Redemption, since he's the most iconic character from that franchise. Street Fighter will get Ryu and Ken, makes the most sense. Ryu and Ken are the most iconic characters of the franchise. Even though they have sold less in Red Dead Redemption, Street Fighter will get two characters, because Street Fighter's legacy is much more bigger and started the fighting game genre, so they get two characters just like Mortal Kombat. And Tekken, because they're like the biggest other fighting games other than Super Smash Bros. Next is the Pac-Man series, and of course, it's Pac-Man. Uncharted would be Nathan Drake, he's the most iconic character from that franchise. The Mr. Game & Watch, of course, will be representing Game & Watch as a franchise. Yep, that's easy. Harry Potter, well, we'll cover that in Harry Potter series. Medal of Honor. What are the most popular characters in that series? Same thing with some of these other series. I don't really know much about Medal of Honor characters. No, Hitler will not be a playable character. It'll be funny, but no. So the most popular Medal of Honor character would be Boyd Travers. He's the main character of Medal of Honor Airborne and Medal of Honor the 2010 game. So there we go. Kirby? Yes, of course, Kirby. Fallout? Well, the Vault Boy will be the representative of Fallout, because he's kind of the icon of the series as well. Counterstrike characters, we're going to go over Counter-Strike next. So Counter-Strike's, if Counter-Strike got a rep here, Counter-Strike characters, the most popular character on Counter-Strike, according to Google, is Natasha, so there's your Counter-Strike rep. I have never played Counter-Strike before, so there's your Counter-Strike rep. Kirby, well, we all know it would be Kirby. Yep. And if Sakurai is somehow involved in this game, he would probably slip in King DD as well. Well. Mega Man. Yeah, Mega Man would be the sole representative. But if we really wanted to include a villain, with Dr. Wily would also be playable as well. God of War, Kratos would be the main character of the series. But I would love to give some of these we're going to go over other major franchises. So Kingdom Hearts is further down on the list. And yep, considering that Disney has allowed to put characters in Smash Bros., this Smash Bros. Game, Sora would be in the game, no doubt. Children Undead from the Dark Souls series would also be in the game. Another series is Half-Life. Gordon Freeman would be playable. Oh, alright. Ratchet and Clank would of course be playable as characters as well as long as Rayman. Gears of War, I actually have to look that up. The Walking Dead is based off a TV show, good, so it'll cover Walking Dead and TV show. You know, I know the Walking Dead game is technically its own universe, but we're going to be covering Walking Dead and TV series. So the most popular Gears of War characters is Gus Cole. So there you go. That's your sole representation for Gears of War. Microsoft's second largest franchise. Bioshock, yep, it's the big daddy from Bioshock. That would be the sole playable web for Bioshock as well. The Last of Us, it would probably be Ellie, but again, it could give Last of Us 2 characters with Joel as well, and Ellie, both of them. But Ellie is the more, since he survived both games, so he'll be the biggest. He'll be basically in it. Tails, well, Lloyd Irving basically the rep for that character. Batman, he's not. He'll be covered in DC. Devil May Cry, yeah, Dante would be in the game then. Spider-Man will cover then movies. Yeah, all these are not even gaming characters. So Shin Megami Tensei and Persona. It includes the Persona sub-series, but that's the problem. Yeah, Persona will be listed separately. So Shin Megami Tensei characters, I do not know anything about Shin Megami Tensei, so I have to look it up. But it's like Gears of War. Shin Megami Tensei characters. The most popular character is protagonist. Wow. Very original. But he is called Kaiusa, so he'll be the main character. He is the representation. Castlevania, of course, Simon Belmont would work for that franchise. Yo. Spyro, yep, Spyro. Mass Effect, it would be the main character of that game. I forgot his name. Oh yeah, Agent Shepard, that he'll be the main character. Watch Dogs, well, problem is Watch Dogs, there's different characters per game, but I think probably the most iconic character is probably the guy from the first game, Aiden Pierce. Probably, oh, there. And there we go. That's the best-selling games of all time. Now we're going into some lesser gaming franchises. Franchises that didn't meet the criteria of this list, that are still notable or only had one game. And now we're delving into the world of indies. Indies are not really represented in this list. And some games, like Overwatch, are not really represented as well. Overwatch has sold 50 million copies, but considering that Overwatch isn't even, its sequel isn't out yet, Overwatch is actually excluded despite having 50 million player base, according to Blizzard themselves. So yes, Tracer would be on this roster as much as Overwatch haters' demise. Same thing with Jonesy from Fortnite. Heck, Fortnite will get 2 characters considering how big Fortnite is. And PUBG doesn't really have characters unlike Fortnite because they're just generic soldiers and they'll just be very similar to the Call of Duty soldiers. Fortnite characters at least would work differently than the, for PUBG. So PUBG would get a stage at least. Kind of like Tetris and some other franchise series on the list. As well that I didn't go over. And then we have to get to indies. Despite this, indies are not represented. We're not, until now, are not represented at all. Frogger would make a good character, but we have to go to indie games. Yep, indie games. And what are the most successful indie games out there? The first game that shows up is literally Undertale, so Sans would have a spot on the roster. Since Undertale was not on the list, Sans is the only representation of its series. Same thing of Cuphead from Cuphead. I doubt indie game developers would ignore this feat of gaming, considering how indie games have basically become bigger over the years. So, yeah, Cuphead and Sans would probably be playable characters. Same thing with the Goose from Untitled Goose Game. Yes, it's just a goose, but it's a very funny and quirky game that I don't think the developers would ignore. Same thing with the Knight from Hollow Knight. This is another character that would probably not... Since indies are very important now for games, yep, they would be included as well. Same with Isaac from the Bind of Isaac, Shovel Knight as well, and yes, even Freddy Fazbear would be included as well. Indie games do deserve reps, even though as much as I like to rag on developers basically promoting indie games. Yep, indie games are still a big part of gaming. And of course, we'll probably include Shantae because people are like, what about Shantae? The longest running indie game series of all time. So yes, Shantae can finally appear in Smash Bros. Finally appear in Super Smash Bros. So that's it for the gaming characters. And no, we're not including mobile game characters because Maybe except for Amber from Genshin Impact. He's the only mobile character that gets any representation. The game's also on the PS4 too, so as well. So what about other characters that didn't get to meet this list? Other important game characters. Samus from Metroid is one of those characters. Metroid did not reach that 20 million criteria, but I think Metroid should not be ignored. Considering that Samus is one of the most iconic female gaming characters of all time, you know, it just seems like a crime to ignore Metroid and deny Metroid from having a spot in this game just because, like Overwatch, just because it didn't reach that 50 million criteria, the 20 million criteria, and it's not even a gaming, like how Overwatch doesn't even have a sequel yet, despite one being in development. Same thing with the Inkling from Splatoon. Splatoon is a relatively new franchise, and both games combined include 16 million copies sold. Around 16 to 17 million copies sold. Splatoon would not be denying a spot on this roster either, so the Inkling would be in the game. Denying a character a spot on the roster just because it's recent doesn't, is basically a crime in itself as well. Kind of like denying it, and same thing with League of Legends. League of Legends is another very popular game, and League of Legends will at least get 2 characters from that series. Because of how big it is, but League of Legends was not included on the most popular, is not considered a franchise because all the games are free. Same thing with TF2. Heavy would have a spot as well, just like Gordon Freeman does. Considering that TF2 is a free game, TF2 would basically have a spot on the roster. I have to look up League of Legends characters. Who are the most popular? Most popular. League of Legends would get 2 spots. The Ahi and Teemo would probably be in, because Teemo is kind of like that one character that everybody hates, but everybody loves at the same time. So, those are your 2 spots in League of Legends. He's probably not the most picked. He's like the icon of that series. Basically. And then let's look up new games. New franchises. So, first game is Among Us. Yep, I think Among Us would probably sneak its way onto its roster as the last character for gaming, considering how Among Us has practically blown up over the years. I don't want to include every single game franchise that has ever existed, but considering how big Among Us has gotten, yes, the crewmates from Among Us would be a playable character in the roster. And we're not including most mobile games as well, because they don't really deserve a spot on the roster. Like, the Clash of Clans Warrior does not deserve a spot on the roster, like, really. And actually, one last character, the Roblox new, because of how big Roblox is as a game. So, those are our gaming characters for gaming, and I think I probably did a good job to represent gaming as a whole. A new form of entertainment that emerged in the 80s, and now has become one of the biggest things of entertainment all time. Next time we'll be going over movies, and the largest movie franchises and film series of all time. And then after that, we're covering all mediums of TV, including anime, cartoons, and thus TV in general. So, that's basically it about this video. If you think any other characters or any other franchises or series should be included, basically, and probably Persona will be represented as well. But we already represented Persona Veda Shin Megami Tensei franchise. So, probably Joker would probably get a spot as well. So, do you think any other series should be included? For example, Banjo-Kazooie also get a rep, even though Banjo-Kazooie did not reach that magical 20 million copies. So I try to represent gaming as a whole and game series as a whole. So every company can have at least one character. So most major companies can have at least one character in it. And I think I went over more gaming's most iconic characters, and I think majority of them are in the roster. Again, we can't have every single gaming character in the roster. I think most people would actually be pleased with the characters, and that there's not a million sword fighters on the roster. But again, there's a lot of probably gun characters on the roster will be the new sword fighters. So next we'll be going to movies and film. The next biggest thing on the list. Goodbye.